Suborno Isaac Berry for 2048. I will be running as a Democrat in 2048.
Professor Suborno Isaac Berry, run for the President of the United States of America in 2048.
Streaming and the rockets are reckoning. The bomb is bursting in air. Give proof through the night that our flag was still there.
One brother pushed and the other one pulled. So I will push the car and you pull the flag, okay? Okay, now. You know what, Isaac? We forgot to kick the car that insult our flag.
My name is Professor Suborno Isaac Berry. I was born on April 9, 2012 in New York, and I will be running as a presidential candidate in 2048. I decided to run as a presidential candidate for 2048 on June 25th, 2021, when I almost lost my father. On June 25th, 2021, my father went to the bathroom and lost all consciousness. He fell on the floor. He lost his front teeth, and there was blood all over the floor. Now, the thing was, the doctor took him to the ambulance like any doctor would do, but they didn't allow me to come. So I was sad. I was angry. I was scared. And so I ran to the study room and took out a math book and a physics book. The things I had been trained to do, and the things that I was good at. But when I solved the math and physics problems, those didn't help me express my emotion. Those didn't help me cope. It only made my heart feel heavier. But the next morning, when I went to the hospital to visit my father, I found that there was actually a piano in the hospital lobby. And so I had never even touched the piano before, forget playing one. But some mystical, mysterious force pulled me towards the piano. I just had to play it for some reason. And so, I sat on the bench and I started playing. And soon, somehow, my fingers started to make a melody. I was making music unconsciously. When I finished playing my music, I turned around to see, surprisingly, a huge crowd had formed behind me. And one of them broke the silence and handed me a paper. And I started reading it. I have dreamed from my father, oh my brother, I have dreamed from my father. What? I gave her a weird look, and she said that this is what I was playing. That was absolutely a miracle, something that touched my heart so much. I didn't even know what I was playing, but it touched my heart. And then, when I was thinking about that, another person broke the silence. They said, my name is Dr. Rajashree. Do you like piano? Now, the thing was, I was in tears, so I was going to say yes, but since I was crying so much, I decided to play piano to keep hiding my tears. But the next day, I found that not only had my father returned home from Mount Sinai Hospital, but I also found the exact same piano from the hospital, now mounted on my second floor. I gave him a big hug and told him that I had a surprise for him. I had completed my new book, Manish. And the thing was, every single day, my father had worked super hard to try and make me a Manish. But every birthday I had, he measured my progress, starting from my second birthday. On April 8th, 2014, I asked my father to have a more meaningful birthday. Something that I would actually enjoy, because my first birthday, candles and cake, weren't that festive to me. I didn't really like it. I wanted a challenge, something that I would actually enjoy, something I would learn from, and something that would downside my heavy 2-year-old ego. And so, challenges were festive to me after all. So I asked my father for a challenge, but my father just pointed to the bed and told me to sleep. But the next day, I heard my father calling me to room 0, a room that used to be our garage in the backyard. So I walked to room 0, and suddenly the garage door closed behind me, and it said that I had an hour to find the name of a book and the author of that exact same book. When the name and author were censored, they were blacked out on every single page, not to mention the cover. And so, well, it seemed like a hard task, but I had to use mathematical and scientific facts, most notably gravity, to figure out the name and author. So I later figured out that the name and author of the scientific book, the name was Principia or Principia, whichever way you choose to pronounce it. And the author was Sir Isaac Newton, and it was possibly one of the greatest scientific works of all time. But that day, I learned to love math and science. On the day of my 2nd birthday, I learned to love math and science. As the President of the United States, I will give every single child in the United States an opportunity to change the world like Newton or Einstein did. On my 3rd birthday, I was taken to the 9/11 Memorial, a place I later nicknamed Ground Zero, but I didn't quite know what 9/11 was at that time. So I was seated on the 9/11 Memorial pool where I sat around. I walked around, but I didn't really know the significance of the place. My father asked me to find the significance of this place, but I couldn't really see it. It just seemed like some decorative pool. So I started writing it down. It seemed like some decorative pool the same way Niagara Falls is. So I started writing it down and making a physical comparison to Niagara Falls because I learned to love math and science. And a few hours later, or a few minutes later actually, I saw 2 men walking up to the pool, crying and throwing roses. Now I knew there must be something bigger. It was so foolish and naive to think that this was just a decorative pool. So I looked around, thinking for more clues, and then maybe then I could see the big picture. And then I saw it, the World Trade Center towering all over me, and I had almost lost my uncle in that incident. That instilled a sense of patriotism in my blood. Now, as the President of the United States, I will inspire every child to become as patriotic as Abraham Lincoln. On my 4th birthday, I was placed in the middle of a huge, large mosque, and I was asked to, do something of significance. Now, what would doing something of significance mean? It was much harder than finding something of significance. So what could I do that was of significance? That's a lot of significances, but what could I do? Well, I looked around. It was just a regular mosque, it seemed. And so I did what anybody would do. Just look around, do the normal stuff, pray to Allah, all the stuff. But that wasn't anything of significance. All the children were looking around and praying to Allah and also scrolling on their phones too. So, what was a thing of significance I could do? Something that would make change in the mosque. Well, I rummaged around in my pocket. Maybe I could find something hidden within me. And then, suddenly, I found something pivotal. It seemed like there was chalk in my pocket. So, for my 2nd birthday, I had muscle memory. Start solving problems when you see chalk. And so, I started solving math problems when I saw chalk. Even though, I didn't even know what math problems I was solving, I just took it out, did the vector sums, the tensor sums, all the good stuff that's not the top level of physics, but getting kind of close. And so, I did some black hole stuff, trying to make predictions with my naive little mind that didn't even know what a black hole was until I was 6. But, anyway, that was what I did. But something then happened. The imam spotted me rebelling. And the Imam walked up to me and scolded me himself. Chalk is haram. Now, either pray to Allah or get out of the mosque. Now, well, I didn't know why he wasn't scolding the kids scrolling around with their phone instead of praying to Allah. But why instead he was scolding me. But, well, I had to find a way out of the situation. It was an emergency, at least to my 4-year-old brain, who was making a big deal out of it. So, my 4-year-old brain decided to make a strong response, something I probably can't beat when I'm 9-year-old even now. Chalk is not haram, and it is the eve of the 4th of July, so you should be praying for the United States of America. And then, well, the Imam said no, he refused, and I walked out of the mosque. Later, I published my book, The Love, to protest against the Imam's actions. And then, on my 5th birthday, he tested me again, unexpectedly. It was a lot of tests, sure, but hey. On my 5th birthday, I learned empathy. On my 5th birthday, I was put in room 0 again, and I was slightly more mature this time, and I didn't freak out when I was first introduced to it. In room 0, I was asked to recite the Quran, which was sitting on the floor for 1 hour, and told that I had 5 hours, and that there would be a timer in the left corner. Luckily, this time it wasn't as annoying as in room 0, and it didn't have to say out loud every single second what the time was. So I started reading Quran, and well, after 1 hour of reading the English Quran, because I didn't learn to read Arabic yet, after 1 hour of reading the Quran, well, I thought I was done, but I still had 4 hours left according to the clock, so I wasn't using some time-traveling machine to finish this project. So what could I do? Well, I tried manipulating the clock, that didn't work, and so I started rummaging around, searching for other things. And then I suddenly found the Bible when I dug deep enough. And then I found the Torah in the opposite corner. And then I found another book. This time it was the Tripitaka, and then it was the Bhagavad Gita. I was finding all these religious books and holy books everywhere. And, well, my father said nothing about these other books. But we shouldn't be killing each other, murdering each other, just because we believe in different things. We should be loving each other, even if we believe in different things. And so, we should at least embrace others' religion. And so, that's exactly what I did. And I embraced others' religion by reading the other holy books for 1 hour. And then suddenly my time was up, and I think I did the right thing, because my father said, "Great job." That was the message he was trying to give me on my birthday. Religious indifference. We should all love each other, disregard our religion, disregard our beliefs. Alright, now on my 6th birthday, I got a more strange puzzle. This puzzle only had 1 sentence. When I woke up, I found a sentence taped to my bedroom. Actually 2 sentences, but still. When do the lives of 15 million people matter more than 2 billion? You have 1 day. So, well, that was weird. I had 1 day, which was 24 hours, which was much better than an hour. Still not that long, if you think about it, really. But anyway, it was better than 1 hour. But when do 15 million matter more than 2 billion? Well, I thought. And according to my mathematics, well, 15 million was much less than 2 billion. So how could they possibly mean more? Well, the thing was, 15 million, I then thought, was the Jewish population, while 2 billion was the Muslim population. Offensive, but okay. And then I looked past myself and looked beyond into the bigger picture. How many contributions have Muslims made today? Well, 0. Muslim scientists, when you do a Google search, nothing pops up. Dig the deepest, then you'll find that the most recent, at least a tiny bit prominent Muslim scientist, who was Maryam Mirzakhani, she made a bit of contribution, but even she isn't alive today. And you can see that they made much more terrorist attacks since 1979 than Nobel Prize winners since 1901. But the Jews, on the other hand, how many terrorist attacks have they committed? And, well, how many contributions in the modern age have they submitted? Exactly. The proportion is reversed for the Jews. And so maybe that's what he was trying to say, that the Muslims have made less scientific discovery and have been less educated than the Jews in our modern day, in our modern age. But I needed a look at the bigger picture. So I traveled to a mostly Jewish neighborhood and a mostly Arab Palestinian neighborhood, which would be Borough Park and Bridgeview. It should have been Bridgeview and Borough Park, but hey, I'm not the one ordering in alphabetic order. I am, actually. Anyway, the thing was, Bridgeview, I surveyed all the conversations, and they mostly were about donating to this organization called Hamas. But I needed one last survey, and so I took a group of 100 kids, which is a pretty large sample size, considering I guess Bridgeview is a pretty small city. And then, well, I asked them, what did they want to be when they grow up? 97 of them said, I want to join Hamas. And then 3 of them said, I want to be a thing at the Bridgeview Bakery. I want to work at the Bridgeview Bakery, or something like that. But anyway, that was what they said. Like a lot of them wanted to work at Hamas. But why would they want to work at a terrorist organization so adamantly? I mean, it was so weird. So then I went to the Israeli or Jewish neighborhood and surveyed what was happening there. What was happening there was I surveyed a group of 100 kids, also a pretty equal sample size, considering the size of the little neighborhood. And I asked them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then there was a lot of things, to be exact. Most of them, I surveyed, and about 95 of them were mathematics and scientist positions. Most notably, astronauts, mathematicians, of course, and then you had, I think, chemists and physicists. And while the remaining 5 people who didn't want to be that wanted to just be a baker, which is a humble position, to say the least. But anyway, the Israeli neighborhood clearly were being taught different things than the Arab-Palestinian neighborhood. So what was the thing that made the difference? They were very easy to trick, at least, into joining Islamic terrorist groups with promises of Islamic freedom and a we versus them perspective that makes people brainwashed and join this terrorist cause. And these terrorist causes have wreaked havoc on our great nation, America. As President of the United States, I will make sure that no Arabic or no Palestinian American will join Hamas. And maybe we can solve this conflict with math and science. On my 7th birthday, I was given 4 American flags, and I was told to do something of significance with them. Well, that took me on a throwback to my 4th birthday. But, well, I did what any person would do. This was much easier in this case. What did they do on the moon? What did they do in the founding of the USA? Plant the damn American flag on land. And so, I planted an American flag on the 2, neighborhoods that I went to before. The first one was, obviously, Bridgeview, and in Bridgeview, I at least tried to plant 2 flags. On one occasion, I was caught planting one of the flags by some Arab Jordanian man, and I had to run away and leave behind the flag. And the other one, I planted near a store in, Bridgeview. And then, Borough Park, I planted one flag near a park, and I planted another flag near, a store. And I saw what happened to them after 2 days. in the Israeli neighborhood, the Park 1 had been slightly replaced. It had been moved elsewhere. And the one that I planted near our store had not changed at all. But in the Palestinian neighborhood, I was horrified at what had happened. It was crushed under a tire, ripped apart, and there was spray paint all over it. That day, I had an example, and I learned that you should love the country that you breathe in. And as president of the United States, I will make everybody on my knees as my father sought to make me on my knees. Thank you, everybody, and forward America. President Suborno Isaac Berry for 2048. I will be running as a Democrat in 2048.
And the rockets are echoing, the bomb is bursting in air. Get proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Can I take your picture? You're a celebrity to me because I've never seen anybody sing our national anthem so passionately like you.
I'll take my picture.
Happy 4th of July, Professor Isaac